So we promised a unboxing video back in January, and it's now the end of March. Tomorrow's April 1st. So anyway, I promised this announcement, and it just never got here because it was such a new product and had a lot of demand. So finally got my order in, and I'm really excited about it. We are replacing the turntable that was in this high-end room. I hope you guys will forgive me. I'm wearing my shorts and I have my sandals off, and I'm just kind of really comfortable here. Anyway, this is the new Michell REVOLV turntable. It's going to be in black. We're going to stick a European Audio Team cartridge on this, actually. It's going to be the Joe number 8 cartridge. But we're going to go ahead and unbox the turntable here. It's going to take a while to get this set up, so this is not going to be a... I'm going to keep this as short as I can. And we'll get to more stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. Oops, didn't quite get that. There we go. Go ahead and open this bad boy up and see what we think here. Alright, so opening it up, we got a lot of packing peanuts in here, and we got plenty of packing material beyond that. So, looks like it's very well cushioned in here. Let's see what we have. Okay, there's another box inside of here. So we're going to see if we can get that box out of this box. And I think what I'm going to do, I do this all the time, is see if I can get this to let gravity do the work for us. Okay. Yeah. So keep in mind you will have to have packing peanuts taken care of. And it looks like we've got plenty of other stuff going on here. But yeah, this is the REVOLV from Michell, and it's going to be in black, as you guys can see. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to pause things here for a moment, and we'll get back into this. All right, I got my knife here. We'll go ahead and start cutting things. Sometimes we want to... I don't necessarily love unpacking stuff, doing big unpacking videos, but it's all right. So... try not to go very deep with these things. Okay. Gloves. Always nice to be able to handle things with gloves. Let's see what this looks like. Got some nice thick packing here. And they give you a brochure slash, let's see if this is the manual. Yep, that's going to be the instruction manual. Hey, this is actually kind of nice because it's actually in color, so you know what you're dealing with. That's good. And your manual comes with serial number already in there. This is number 52, so that's cool. All right, here we go. So, starting here at the very top, looks like we've got, this is your drive, your belt drive, your pulley, your motor, okay, and we have your clamp. And this is a clamp, so it's not going to stick weight on it, it's just going to clamp it down, pull it tight to the turntable. That actually, just listening to Michelle talk about it, that actually helps with not putting extra weight on the bearing, which I think is probably a pretty solid way to do that. So yeah, this is that comes right out of there. They designed this packing really well. Does this come out by itself? Yes, it does. So there's your spindle, and we'll deal with more with that later. Lay that down nicely there. And sort of get the reveal right there. Now if I take this out. Okay. Looks like this is all one unit. Okay, that's all one unit. Very nice. Okay. Get a good idea of how the spindle is going to go in there. And then over here, this is probably the power supply, I would imagine. Figure out how to open it. Oh, this is the drive belt, and oh, we've got some other supplies in there. Lubrication, got a level, that kind of stuff. That's cool. Alrighty. Alright, motor's a little bit bigger. I should have seen that. Okay. Yeah, there's the motor right there, or the power supply. It's right there. Accessories box, your cord and that kind of stuff, I would imagine. And that's exactly what that is. That is your power cord. We have a turntable dust cover. And then here's the platter. And you can see on this platter we have some nice weights on it. A little bit of dampening, I suppose, with the cork around that. So yeah, got some nice heavy weight. These are very heavy platters, and it's gonna just pretty much be great. So that's what is there, and it's gonna take a good amount of time to go ahead and construct all this and put it together and make things happen. The tone arm is in another box that came separate. We ordered the T8 tone arm, so let me grab that box. I've already cut it open, but let's see what we got here. Okay. So this comes with the Techno weight as well. So there you go. And then of course we have the tone arm and lots of packing peanuts, as you can see. So we'll have the tone arm in here, and looks like we're taped up on the ends here, so we'll get that taken care of. Okay, I guess I should have just opened one end. It's all right. So help me to push it through. So yeah, we'll have the T8 user manual in there, and of course the T8 should be in here as well. And there it is. So a good amount of work to do, and I'm not going to like take all those out just yet. There is plenty of gear in here, but it's going to be great. So this is going to be the Michell REVOLV turntable with a T8 tone arm in black, and we will have a Joe number 8 from European Audio Team as the cartridge on this bad boy, and looking forward to getting this set up. It's going to take me a while, so we'll pause the video and I will show you what it looks like once we have it set up. Okay, so this may be one thing that is maybe obvious to a lot of people, but not everybody. And I like the fact that the instruction manual actually tells you to do this. At this point, I mean, all I've done is set out the motor assembly, and I've set up the turntable, and the next thing they have you do is level the turntable. So you haven't done anything with like messing with tone arm. You haven't done anything with putting the platter on. It is get this level, because that's ultimately going to determine your level. So that's a good moment in here, and I just wanted to throw that in as I'm putting this together. All right, so we have the Michell REVOLV turntable all set up. And right now it has its dust cover on it. Obviously this is not a conventional dust cover. This is called the Michell Unicover. And you have a pretty odd shaped turntable. It's not your standard square. So you don't have a cover that you can lift and it pivots. You just have to just take this one right off of there and set it down. And it's out of the way. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about this setup. It is a very nice setup, and I think you guys will enjoy working with your Michell REVOLV and getting to know it. In terms of setup, I will say the instruction manual is great. I did find one situation that was like, if you're not experienced with this, you might move forward, and it's going to make something very difficult in the end. So it doesn't tell you to get the tone arm on pretty early in the process. It actually has you building really the entire turntable and then putting the tone arm on. That makes it a little bit more difficult. So what I would suggest is actually, before you ever put any oil in the bearing well or anything like that, before you connect the belts, before you even put on the platter, go ahead and get the tone arm on there. Because you have a ground wire that's on the bottom side of this. So if you need to manipulate it, it's a lot easier to do without all this other stuff on there. If you get through all this stuff, you're actually going to have to kind of slide it to the edge and work from underneath, which is a little bit of a pain. So I do recommend going ahead and getting that tone arm. You don't have to put the cartridge on yet. You don't have to worry about counterweights. Just get the tone arm set in there, and it'll be ready to go. This is the T8 tone arm that Michell offers with this, or actually separate from it. They have a couple of tone arms, but this is the T8, and works very well with the REVOLV turntable. And one thing that they will do is, if you order the T8 with it, is they will already have this set up so you don't have to really think about it. Just drop it in there and get the screws put in, and it's really quick. But there's extra stuff in the box, so if you don't listen to what I just said, doing it very simply, you're going to kind of overthink some of the stuff that's in that box. All right, one of the things, I have a little thing from when we were when I was setting it up. Set the level before you ever get the platter on there. Just get that level set, and that's a good thing. Let's talk about some of the features. You have these brass weights on the bottom side of this Delrin platter. Delrin is the material. It's great at absorbing vibrations and not letting that through to the album. But you have these weights, and there's multiples of those. And so there's a lot of inertia with this turntable and the platter. It just kind of keeps going once you've started it. It doesn't really want to stop all that bad. It does come with a record clamp that you'll set on there. Michell recommends using clamps rather than a weight that's going to sit down there, because when you put that weight on there, you're putting extra weight into the bearing well, and there's just that spindle's just pushing down there, and probably going to create a little bit more friction. The bearing well does require oil. Oil comes with the turntable, and it says to put about 2 millimeters of oil down in the bottom of it, and then you put a little bit on the top of where the spindle's going to rest, and then a little bit down the side, and so you get it pretty well lubricated. Now, that down in that well, there's actually a mono helix design that helps draw that oil up the spindle and let it come back down. So that is a really good design to kind of keep that lubrication constant. Now, with the gyro turntable, as opposed to the Revolve, it's actually a double helix design to help circulate that oil throughout the bearing well. So probably a little bit more efficient and probably a little less friction. One of the differences between the Revolve and the gyro is that these weights on the gyro are going to be about that tall. It's a much taller turntable, and they're going to have heavier weights. And then these feet are far more heavily engineered on the gyro than they are in here. These have sorbethane, little nodules of sorbethane on the bottom. They're great. They absorb vibration. You don't hear a lot of bass coming back up through the unit, and the sorbethane is very sufficient in its vibration dampening qualities. So I do like that. The platter, sorry, it's the platter. This is the chassis. The chassis is 19 millimeters thick. It is made of aluminum. They say that it's an aerospace grade aluminum, and it is tooled from a plate. What's nice about that versus a mold is that they are able to basically manage the resonant qualities of the chassis a lot more than they were able to do with the molds. The molds, when you pour those, you're not necessarily going to have an even pour every time, and there can actually be air pockets within that pour, so that's going to change the resonant qualities. And with the aluminum plates, you don't have that problem, and this is a much more consistent resonance. So that means that the engineers are able to predict things and address any potential issues before they ever leaves the shop, and it's probably going to be about the same from one turntable to the next. Like I said, this is a Delrin platter, and it is a very nice sound absorbing platter. You have a separate power supply, and then you have the motor housing, which is going to have the pulley. That is actually decoupled from the chassis. So you don't have any sort of motor vibration carrying over into the chassis. So by decoupling that, you eliminate one potential problem there. But the other thing is these have nice aluminum housings that are well sealed up, and so any sort of potential RF frequencies that might be generated from magnetic field type stuff is not going to carry over into this because it's very well sealed up. You don't have to worry about it. Let's talk about the cartridge. On this setup, now Michell definitely has some great cartridges, but on this setup, because we're a European Audio Team dealer, we went with the European Audio Team Joe number 8 cartridge. It has a nude fine line stylus, and it is set on a boron cantilever. So very sensitive to the groove, and it finds all the music that's down in there. On the Joe number 8 versus a Joe number 5, if we used a Joe number 5 on this, we were actually going to have to use some alternative weights, counterweights on the back. They do have a techno weight kit that you can get with these and offset that. So you can use a Joe number 5, but you will have to have that little techno weight set up to address the weight differences. But this one fits just barely into the parameters, and because of that, we just went with the standard counterweight on here, and it worked great. But it is toward its extreme end, and it wouldn't have held up for a much heavier cartridge. But fortunately, Michell has their remedies for that. So it's a wonderful setup, and I think you guys have heard me talk about it plenty, and so we're going to play some tracks for you and let you hear it, or at least one track.